Welcome back. This is going to be my after action of the Gun Run DMR Edition that was just held in North Carolina. So we'll just kind of talk through all my equipment and how that worked out for me. So I started out with 70 rounds of pistol, 75 rounds of rifle. By my count, I only expended 43 pistol and 55 rifle. So I think I definitely brought the right amount of ammunition. I used these 3 PMags with the +5 extension, so 25 rounds per magazine. You can see I got 20-20 and then 2 15-rounders for my pistol. Clothing worked out perfectly. By the time I started, it was a little bit warmer, so like low 60s, high 50s. And then, of course, we got the Glock 19. Again, the first video I covered this. The goal with this gun is that it is light, but it is very accurate. I got a KKM barrel. I got the nice 1-minute dot RMR on it, and I think this is really like a winning combination. If you are less confident in your pistol shooting ability, you might want to carry something a little bit heavier, a little more focused on shooting well, like a 2011 or maybe a CZ or something like that. But for me, I made it work just fine with this pistol, and I didn't really see any pistol shooting that I thought was uniquely challenging. All the misses that I had to make up in the course of the stage, that was all like personal problems. That wasn't a gun limitation. For the rifle, definitely got some comments on my laser rangefinder, which is fine. I really only used it twice in the match, or I'd say 3 times. The first was to just get a quick distance on a target. Now, could I have probably just estimated off the berms? I think so. But it was nice to just hit it with the laser and get my immediate correction off that one. The second time, they gave me a range card with distances on it, and I immediately ranged the farthest target just to make sure I was looking at the correct target. So it was like 580 yards, hit it with the laser says 575, wherever it was. Cool, I know I'm looking at the right target to start on. And then the last time I used it, it was at a target that I estimated was significantly further than it actually was at, and the reason for that was because the target was like a reduced size silhouette. So I thought I was looking at a full size, 19-inch shoulder width. I'm really looking at like 12 inches shoulder width. So I fired a few rounds at it. I was not having any impacts or effect, and then I hit it with the laser, got my correction on it, and I was fine from there. Everything else with the rifle, I think, worked out pretty well. My sling setup worked out great. I ended up throwing it over my left shoulder, kind of down on my right side, just kind of holding the handguard for a little bit while I was running. I think that was good. It kind of had some versatility in carrying it. The bipod I only used for one stage. In that stage, it was basically on like a wooden deck, and you were told you can assume any position you want. So at that point, I deployed the bipods and actually took my bag and did some rear support on that one. I shot that stage pretty cleanly. I did not use the top dot at all, really. There was enough terrain to easily kind of spot targets and reference them. Then anything close, it was either like a single shot, so I was just dialed down to like 4, like a hostage target. And then there were 2 kind of full-size USPSA silhouettes that were at like 5 yards. So being magnified up, I kind of just need to point the gun and then put, illumination on brown and shoot. So I didn't really need any top dot for that necessarily. The other thing I did with this optic, this Razor 1-10, that I think is important to point out is that I run it illuminated all the time, but I keep it on a very low illumination. So for this match, I had it on 3. And that lets me know when I'm coming out of the eye box, because I either can't see the illumination or it looks wonky in the reticle, and that helps me correct when I'm sweaty, tired, whatever. I have like an immediate correction in the scope to fix me and get me back in the eye box. So overall, the next time I shoot this match, would I bring the Vortex laser rangefinder? Maybe not. It is like a pound plus some on the gun, and that makes a difference. So up to you. I don't think it made a huge difference in my shooting, but it was definitely a nice to have. Over on the right side here, these Solomon speed assaults, they were perfect for this. There was a lot of uneven terrain, kind of gravel, little ruts in the road, stuff like that. So I was very happy to have a little more ankle support navigating those hills. So these are the way to go. A good thick wool sock. I mean, perfect choice for this event. If you're wearing a heavier boot, I think you're serving yourself probably wrong. If you're wearing like a very light trail runner, you're probably risking some stuff a little bit there too. My bag here, this very light, the pint size Game Changer with the Get Light fill. This really was super important for me. In that one stage I shot out of the prone with the bipod, I used it for rear support, but there was another stage that you were shooting off of like natural rock terrain, and this was critical. Being able to put this down on the terrain, throw the gun on, that was huge. If you did not have a bag on that stage, I think you were definitely at a massive disadvantage. This right here, this is from Sun and Shadow. This is their kind of like bag strap thing. It's definitely worth the money. It came in the day before the match, so super awesome that I had this for the match. And you just put your belt through this slot here, so that keeps this thing in a steady position, so you can just buckle, unbuckle as you go. So I used this on my left side with my bag, and I had the bag in a very easy to reference position. I could get there quickly, buckle it, unbuckle it. It would slide on the belt a little bit if I wanted to bring it forward. So the Sun and Shadow bag strap, I'm not forgetting the name for it. I'll put a link in the description. But that thing is awesome for this. If you're going to shoot a gun run DMR, I think you need to have that strap and that bag probably. My AWS chest rig, this thing worked out great. Exact same setup as I showed in the first video. I even had to do a pistol reload out of the chest rig, which even I was surprised at how quickly I did that. So I guess there is some like subconscious muscle memory still floating around. But something like this I think was like clutch and like the way to go. So overall, good event, interesting event. I saw some stuff that was like pretty wild, and I know some people are trying to get different things out of it, but some things I noticed. So for me, I'm using the Surefire in-ear little ear pro plugs. I kept them in the whole time. I saw some guys with like the big Peltors that they were taking on and off. I think that is definitely not the move. Just fumbling with kit. It's hot. Like why would you bother with that? You're gonna run up. You're gonna get a stage brief. You can pop one earplug out a little bit, then put it back in, and then shoot, and then go on your way. So I wouldn't do that. I know some guys had a ton of equipment. I think something like this, a chest rig, maybe like a belt holster if you don't feel comfortable working out of a chest rig. Like this is the way to go. You got to keep, weight off the hips if you're running, right? Not hiking, running. You got to keep your kit light. For me, 100% great option. I know a guy used a pack. He had his rifle in an Everly stock pack. I think he probably wasted a ton of time, and I don't think he got very much advantage out of it because that pack itself has weight, whereas this thing is significantly lighter than that pack. This AWS style chest rig, it's just the pouches, and there's nothing on the back. There's no, fancy pockets. It is very, very minimalist. There's no padding, right? There's just these little sliders here that can keep this from cutting into you, but that's perfect, right? I want this to be as minimalist as possible. Ammunition, I think roughly doubling what the minimum round count is going to keep you kind of safe, keep you comfortable. Again, I fired like 50-ish rounds of both, and I think that that's the way to go. Some guys had a complete 6+1 combat load of rifle mags, and I think 210 rounds is not what you need for this match. All right, guys. Overall, good match. I had a good finish. I look forward to the next one, and please let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks.